Hi guys. So before we move to validation and service layer implementation, let's discuss on the model folder that I created in the last video. So if you see, I have like in the last video, I had created a model package generally for your all the DTOs, entity, enums, POJO, whatever you will be creating in this package only, right? So right now you can see we have a sub packages in the model DTO and enum. So basically all the DTO classes like HTTP app response and task DTO, you will be creating in the DTO subfolder. Okay. Similarly, I have created a status enum in the enum sub package. So, and like in the future video, when we will be implementing the JPA, then there will be a separate sub package entity as well in the same model sub package, right? This is the opinionated like I had created this sub package structure like this. You could have created this enums in the HTTP and task separately, just to make it more clear that like this is only the HTTP enums, this is only the task enum. It is up to you, right? So that's the only thing that I wanted to discuss from the last video. Now, quickly move to the validation part, right? So I had created a task DTO. Right now you can see there is no limitation on title description. Like user can provide a null value as well in the title. So that I don't want, right? So in general, you would not want title to be empty or null. So in that case, we need to provide some validation. So now there are two ways to provide a validation. First one is go to a task manager controller and here write your business logic. Like you don't want a title to be null or any other validations, right? That is fine, but that might be overkill for the simple validation like it should not be null. So for that, we have a different annotation provided by Jakarta in the Spring Boot itself, right? So let me add one more example field, estimate in days. Okay. Let me give you a scenario, right? So let's say I want title should not be null and I want length of title should be between 3 and 50 including. Okay. Similarly, for estimate in days, I want minimum 1 day and maximum 14 day just for the random example. Okay. How I can do it? So there is an annotation called not null, and for string you can use not empty as well. But I have a validation like length 3 to 50, so maybe I will be using not null only. Okay. So this is only for not null. Now, how to do length check for this title? Okay. So if you put min here, I saw most of the times from the developers like they confuse with this @min and the @length, right? So if you go to this min, 1 second. If you go to this min, it is clearly mentioned that the supported types are big decimal, integer, short, int, long. So basically, this min is only for the numbers, not for the string. So for a string, we have a separate annotation called @length. So if you go to this length, it is clearly mentioned that validate that a string is between the min and max included. Okay. So for my title check, I will provide a min as 3 and max as 50. Okay. Now for the estimate in days, you might already guessed min 1 and @max, let's say 40. Okay. So yeah, for task DTO, it is done. Now, most important thing, whatever annotation you are using in this field, it will not matter until unless you provide a @valid annotation here. If you are not providing @valid annotation here, no matter what kind of validation you are putting here, it will not work, right? So that is most important. And again, let me copy this and put in the put mapping as well, because here as well we are using a request body. Let me start the server. Quickly go to Swagger. Let me refresh it. Now, if you go to create task, in the schema as well, you will see important information like there's a asterisk after title. What does that mean? That means title is mandatory. Okay. Now in the estimated days, if you see 1, 14 or both inclusive. So basically it says estimated days takes value from 1 to 40. Okay, similarly in the put, if you go to schema, you will see title and entry. Okay, let me show you this thing in working. Okay, so one thing I wanted to discuss from last video. So here if you see in the create task, in the example, I have ID as well. Okay, so there is another opinion, generally I saw in different project, like people created different DTO altogether for creation of something, right? So for our case, it is create task. So I might have created a create task request DTO, a separate DTO just for the create task. In that, what I will do, I will put all these 4 attributes except ID. Okay, so in that way, you will not see this ID here. Then in case of the response of get, post, put, I will be creating a separate DTO, task DTO, and I will just extend the create task DTO and provide only ID. So simple inheritance here, right? So that is also fine. I mean, that is also I saw in different projects. So you can also do in that way. As of now, I don't need a separate object for create and response. So maybe I will move ahead with that on. Okay. So let me remove it. Title, let me put null first. Okay, if I try to execute, you will see 400 bad requests, right? So that is not correct. But as of now, let it be, because we have a separate video on global exception handler where we will be overriding this behavior, this default behavior is free. But if you go to your logs, you can see what issue you have. Okay, so must not be known. So task DTO.title must not be known. Okay. Similarly, for let's say if I put a empty or only one character, you will see a similar response. Similarly, for estimation, if you put 0, you will get same. And if I put 15, again, it will throw a same issue. Okay, and you can verify it with the logger, like must be greater than or equal to 1, length must be 3 and 50. Okay. Now, similarly for put as well, if you put these value, you will get a issue. Now, let me put a valid value here. So our title, and let's say estimation in 2 days. Okay, and let me execute it. So now you can see status success. ID is null because I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'm not inserting data into the database, so that's why it is default null. Title is again string to enter. Okay, so this is how you will do a basic validation of your models. Okay, so next thing is service layer. Now, whenever you create a service layer, again you need to create a sub package named service. Okay, and then in that we need to create an interface first and then the implementation. Why we do that? We could have also created implementation and directly use that in the controller. So because we never know. So there are 2 reasons I would say. First thing is we never know, like if we require a different service implementation, then we just need to implement that interface into a different implementation, and using @qualifier or @primary, we can plug and play with the implementation. So that is one use case I would say. Second use case is, so most of the time you will be working in a team, and there is a high chance that one guy is working on the controller, one guy is working on the model layer, and one guy is working on the service layer, right? So in the initial phase of project, once when the service layer is not ready, the controller guy, like the guy who is creating controller, should not be blocked, right? So they should have some kind of signature with which they can create their controller, right? So that's why we create an interface first. And in the parallel, the service guy will work on service layer implementation and the controller guy will work on the controller layer. So that's why we create an interface first rather than the implementation. So task management service interface. Okay. And here I will have a method, like whatever method I have in the controller, I will be creating a same or similar signature. So again, it is like opinion, right? Like generally what I saw and I also follow, whatever name is here in the controller, you create a method name with same signature. Means signature will be same obviously, but name is also same as your controller. So again, task DTO, create task DTO, task DTO. Let me quickly create all the 4 methods. Okay, so my interface is ready. Let me do a dependency injection in the controller. First, let me create a private final task management service here. Okay, let me import it. And let me create a constructor. Now, there are two things that I want to explain. First thing is, I could have done a auto wire here, and then there is no need of this constructor here, right? So that is avoided altogether in the real world project. We don't auto wire private variable in any layer, whether it is controller layer, service layer, DAO layer, or other service layer. We do a constructor dependency injection like this. Why? So the real benefit you will see when we will be implementing JUnit testing for all the layers. But for now, I can say, if you need to use this task controller and you will be creating a task controller mock waves, there you will not be able to, or you will face very difficulty while injecting this task management service if you are using a variable auto wiring like a field-based dependency injection, right? So that is, I mean, make it a practice. Never use auto wire directly on the variable. Create a constructor, then auto wire. Now, one question maybe you guys can answer in the comment, but anyways, I will provide the answer. If I leave this class as it is, like I'm not writing at the red auto wire here, will it work or not? Right? So I'm pausing for like 1 or 2 seconds. You can think about it and put a answer in the comment section that if it will work or not. If yes, then why? If not, then why? Okay. So think about it. Okay. So let me restart. Okay, this is different error that let me, okay, why this error is occurring? Because we don't have any implementation and my Spring is trying to find that bean that is implementing this task management service, right? So let me create a IMPL folder or package first so that I can implement this task management service. So, okay, so now let me start this. You see, my server is already started, even without the auto wire. Why? So, because let's say if you have only single constructor in your class, then there is no need to put a auto wire, right? So, if you have a multiple constructor for some reason, although almost I never saw more than one constructor in any layer, a bean layer. But anyways, if you have a multiple constructor, then only it is required to put the auto wire here. But you guys always put auto wired in your constructor just for the consistency, right? Even if you not provide this auto wire here, it will work. But for the consistency and make a generic behavior, always put an auto wire on your constructors. Now let me use this task management service to replace my dummy implementation in the controller. Let me remove this comment here. Again, here I can get task by ID, again ID. Again, like update task ID, task video. And similarly, I will call delete here ID. Okay. One more thing, maybe few people are not able to understand why I'm using no content here. So that is again a convention. Like in your delete request, you generally response back with 204 rather than 200. Okay. So that is kind of a convention. So yeah, that is all about dependency injection here in the controller. And if I go to implementation, so these are my implementation. Right now, I'm not implementing all these 4 methods because once we have a JPL layer implemented, so in that scenario, I will be implementing how we will create tasks, how we will get the task by ID, update the task and delete the task. But for the skeleton purpose, I'm just defining it here. Okay. One more important thing, if I'm not putting this @ service here, then I will get a same error that I was getting like few minutes ago. So let me, if I restart it, you will see task management server implementation not found. Okay. Why? until and unless you are not providing any stereotype annotation in your class, then Spring will not be aware, like if it is a Bean or simple Java class or something, right? So that's why we need this @service annotation. I could have provided @component as well, but again, just I mean, to provide that service here, it will work with @component other thing. But again, like if you use @get mapping while creating something, it will work, but that is a wrong practice. So in the similar context, we need to provide a @service annotation on the service layer. So yeah, I think this video is kind of longer than the previous videos, but we covered few things here, right? Like model validation, service layer implementation. Okay, this dependency injection, why we should use a constructor based dependency, why should not we use a variable or a field based field injection. Yeah, there is another a dependency injection method like setter method dependency injection, but generally I never saw that dependency injection in the usual practice. So that's why I'm not discussing about that. So yeah, let's close this. And again, let me emphasize again regarding committing your changes. Once you are done with your feature implementation, commit your changes and push to your main repository. So yeah, that's it for now.